I've been fired from much better jobs than this. Oh man! In that instant when it actually went bang, I actually thought, "I'm gonna fucking die." He says,
Great.
"I'll take it. Get me to the chopper." Yeah.
Jumping back at, so how did you get into the film and TV game?
All right, so here I am, a low-time helicopter pilot, and man, these opportunities are really minimal. Right, the Vietnam pilot boom, had ended, and there were so many pilots. It was really hard. So I looked around and I thought, okay, somehow I need to combine my past experience with ideally my future experience. Anyway, and I just happened to luck out where I learned to fly. My boss said, look, there's a guy coming up from Florida. We're shooting a Newport to Bermuda yacht race.
Right.
You're a yachty.
Yep.
You fly him. He's shooting it. So there was probably 250 yachts in this race, right? It's like the Sydney Hobart, but it's to Bermuda and it crosses the Gulf Stream. So I flew this guy and we shot pretty much every boat. And I could say, hey, that's a new 86-foot whatever, just been launched. They'll buy lots of photos.
I could stay on that.
Ha! Yeah, been on boats that big. Anyway, and we just, it was like mowing grass, shooting all these yachts. Anyway, this guy went back and he goes, I flew with a guy that really knew his yachts. And we got so much. Yeah, and next thing out of that, I got a job working with this guy, and they were called boat picks. And all he did was shoot yachts and boats on weekends, track them, and then sell them photos. That was his business model.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And so I flew for this guy. It had taken me 2 years to build 200 hours. I got on with this guy because by now I was a commercial pilot and I had my instructor rating. Because that's the other way you can build hours is by teaching people. Yeah. Anyway, so I got on with this guy. My first season, I was 1,000 hours. Boom. We just flew. And so, always having an interest in photography and sailing and combining the two was just great.
Wow. You could pick the angles there.
Well, totally, yeah. And so...
And the timing. I mean, you must have been up at dawn. You know, the sunsets.
The golden light, all of the stuff. Yeah, and I mean, just great. And it's like what I used to say about when we were filming on the show with a camera. It's basically like flying a giant paintbrush around in the sky.
Right.
And you're composing images, and that
you're surfing. It's like surfing, right?
Absolutely. Particularly once we had a camera on board with a monitor, and so the monitor, I'm looking at the raw feed, and flying off the monitor, and by coming down, say, 50 feet, I can run coconut trees through the bottom of a frame and give it that relative movement.
You're basically the director of photography, because, I mean, you don't want to jump in too early, but like, if you can give whoever's supposed to be doing it, if you can give them better options.
Yeah.
And if you can pick it, oh no, this one's
put them in a place,
sweet.
and then people want to use you. So I did 4 seasons of yacht photography for this guy out of Florida, flying a small piston engine helicopter that weighed 832 pounds, 400 kilos, 2-seat piston engine, little Robinson R22. So after 4 years of that, I had a couple of thousand hours, and I managed to find a guy. I said, if I do a Bell Factory course in a Bell Jet Ranger. Would you give me a job in news? And he said, yeah. So I did. I spent 3 or 4 US a week at the Bell factory in Texas.
Yep.
And this guy gave me a job in news.
Wow.
So I was flying a news helicopter in Mobile, Alabama, and absolutely loving it. Now, you talk about Australia. I mean, what have we got? 5 capital cities. There's a couple of helicopters in each. To get a job in news in Australia, you've got to wait for the guy to die. And then his brother-in-law will jump in before you.
That's right.
You look at the American market, the electronic news gathering industry, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of news helicopters. And so, yeah, and that was just a continuation from yacht photography into flying news.
Wow.
Police chases and all kinds of stuff, you know. And yeah,
So
working in
Australia,
a visual,
forget it. I'll just go overseas.
Australia, yeah. Just no opportunities, a really parochial attitude, a regulatory body just trying to wring you out and chop you down.
It's probably the same today, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Would you
pretty
think?
much. Yeah. I mean, you know, I looked at the statistics on aircraft distributed around the world, and I think 75% of the world's helicopters were in North America.
Right.
Canada, US. So where are you going to go for the fish fighting? You know?
Exactly. And we're going where the money is now. That's right.
Yeah.
Have to go.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I reckon if you told this to someone what you've done all your life, no one would believe it. Because it's incredible.
I just put it down to a short attention span.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
Wow.
and, you know, just that new and different stuff. In my opinion, well, the way I think, you know, like 6 months, if you haven't got something sorted after 6 months, then although you can get away with that in sailing,
Right.
like, yeah, I'll take you up to somewhere, I'll do that. Aviation's a bit different. It's a lot more complicated, yeah, and you can't fudge it. You've got to have the time. And so, after working in news, I wanted to fly different varied aircraft. And so I ended up in the Grand Canyon in Arizona, flying tours. And there were 42 pilots for one company. And I was pilot number 41. I was the second last guy hired for the season. We had 28 helicopters. And every day we flew people just by the bucket load. I think the biggest, actually, I do not know, I think the biggest day was 970 something people, right? It's on the south rim of the Grand Canyon. And the next day, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot, yeah.
And that's just one of the 3 companies. We were the biggest, that was more Papillon. Anyway,
we have the Fijian rain coming.
We do, don't we? Yeah, I'll keep going. I'll speak a little louder. So, we flew 970 something people one day. The next day was 9/11 in Twin Towers. That was it.
All gone.
Yeah.
For a while.
40, I think they kept a couple of guys who were all laid off. Like, that was it. The tourist just collapsed. And one of the guys that I was working with, he had already left and he had a connection in air ambulances.
Right.
Which kept going.
Okay. Yeah.
And so down I go and I managed to score a job flying an air ambulance in the Midwest.
So you're not only good at doing all this, you're good at finding all this.
Well, you got it. Otherwise, you just get left behind. You've got a network. You've got to scrounge around, and you can't give up. If you give up, all your training, it's just kiss it goodbye. You've just got to hang in there. I mean, that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned, I guess. And so, and I actually ended up in safety, and that's when I crashed this airplane. I was flying an airplane with this outfit. We had 42 bases.
Right.
And I was flying around the bases doing safety checks. And yeah, and then I realized, no, screw airplanes. Helicopters is the way to go.
Yeah.
And I worked on an aerovac base where a guy had done a fire season. And through his connections and his number, got myself a job on a aerial firefighting outfit. So now, forest fires.
Helicopter?
Helicopter, yeah. I started out using...
How does that work? Do they pick up buckets of water, or is
Correct.
that a sand thing? Or?
No, correct. Buckets of water. And playing with water is always fun, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And not nearly as much death as there was playing with air ambulance.
Yeah.
Except for the trees.
Oh, yeah.
And what these guys say in the fire industry, they say, when the forest is black, my wallet is green.
Right.
And it's a blast. Yeah. So my first season I was flying an infrared camera, plus I had a water bucket. So where they map the hotspots on a fire and relay the information to the water bombers and the other aircraft. Mm. And you map the fire morning and afternoon on a big fire. And you have up to 3,000 people on a fire in the Sierra Nevadas. No one does it like the Yanks.
Right.
Yeah. And so I would work in the US. I did another fire season on a helitack crew, which is where you rappel two guys out on either side of the aircraft on 80-meter rappel lines. So in the Sierra Nevadas, you get lightning strikes and flash fires, and if you can get them sooner than later, you can stop them spreading. So we would come in, drop guys into the perimeter of the fire. I'd go back, hook up the bucket, and then they would call in the water strikes. And that's called
You mean you drop them into the area so they can...
On the upwind side of the fire.
Right, yeah.
80-meter line. So you're in amongst the trees, and these guys go down.
So what are they doing that you can't just radio to drop water?
Well, because this is in the mountains, and they're the guys on site.
Right.
They're on the ground.
And what can they do on the ground? Because they haven't got hoses and water.
Well, no, but they've got scouring things, and they can cut fire breaks.
They pre-burn or something.
They can do all that kind of stuff.
I see.
And then they can call in resources. And so, so I would then go back, hook up the bucket. It's called a Bambi bucket. And any water source I can find, I would fill up the bucket and then come back.
Anyone's swimming pools, I've seen them do that.
Absolutely. In fact, I saved a house in California by taking the water out of their swimming pool.
Oh, right.
Excuse me, and dropping it on the house.
That's good. Is that good? Was it on fire or was it about to?
Oh, about to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is a blast.
Yeah.
Absolute blast.
They're like playing in a sandpit as a kid.
Yeah.
With water trucks and...
Totally. Yeah. And the resources that the Americans throw at a situation like that. Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, think of World War II. They were eating ice cream, and our Aussie soldiers are eating bully beef, right? No one does it like the Yanks, right?
Yeah, right.
And so I would do that in the US in the fire seasons or in the boating season for the boat big sky. Yeah. And then I go back to Sydney for Sydney summer. And I scored a job flying tours out of Mascot.
Right. Okay.
And anyway, and tours after a season in the Grand Canyon, that's pretty much enough. It only takes so much. Anyway, the outfit next door was a film outfit, and as it turned out, there was a guy there that had helped me convert my US commercial rating to an Australian commercial. And it took me longer to convert it than it did to get the initial rating in the US.
Crazy.
That's the difference between Australia.
They make it harder to get into it.
Yeah. It's a boys' club. They try and keep people out. So, this guy was operating there. They needed another pilot. And he was the chief pilot. I was the senior pilot. Whatever that means. Still don't really know. And we did film work around Sydney. All right? And one day I hear him on the phone. And he's going, yeah, I think we might have a gig doing a Survivor show that's coming to the Pacific, to Vanuatu.
Okay,
right.
I see.
Anyway, this guy lived in the Blue Mountains, and he just bought himself an XR6 Ford Falcon. He was a bit of a petrol head.
Right, yeah.
And loved his car and everything. And then I hear him say, yeah, but why would I want to go and work on a tropical island for 3 months? Yeah.
I see, yeah.
So I thought, okay, that's interesting.
And yeah.
So that afternoon, we're sitting in his office and I go, you know, John,
don't you love ignorance?
I know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for ignorance, right? So we're sitting in his office. I go, you know, John, as the chief pilot, you're obviously going to have to be here at HQ. But, you know, I'm fine. I'm good to go. So,
if I have to go.
Yeah. So off we went to Vanuatu. We shipped
I'm
the
getting
aircraft.
the DMs too.
Yeah, right. And it's funny, he came the first 3 days with me.
Right.
Because he was the chief pilot.
Okay. And you made it a hell for him?
No, and we were in the, I'll never forget, we were in the Le Lagon Hotel in Port Vila. It was the third day. He was going home the next day. Yeah. We were sitting in the hot tub out under the coconut trees, you know, with those umbrella drinks and the little thing, right? And I think it hit him. Like, what the hell did I just pass up on? Right?
What have I done?
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was too late then. Yeah.
I was too late. I was in, yeah. And so, you know, from learning to fly in the Orma aviation.
See you, mate.
Yeah. I'll call you. Exactly. Unbelievable. So, yeah.
That's
I
good.
waved him off at the airport. Yeah. And that was it.
I never saw him again.
Well, not for 3 months.
It's probably right. Watch this. Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. Thank you, John. I owe you a lot, man. So, and you know, having done all my training in the US and dealt with the Americans and the can-do attitude, one of the things I realized is you never say no.
Yeah.
You say, okay, well, how about we do it this way?
Work out the problem
Yeah,
later.
work it out, make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the way I approached it. Yeah. And I also looked around at the crew, at the guys that've been there the longest, and I noticed they all kind of pretty much flew under the radar, didn't create too many waves, got the job done, and I thought, yeah, that's what I'll model it.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Great.
And so, and that's, we captured some great stuff. And, you know, 4 seasons of chasing boats all over the US.
Right.
Great prime for it. And And so, I know, unbelievable. I thought, this.
And you must forge relationships with camera guys and directors.
Absolutely. Well, my main guy was the camera guy. He was God in his own mind.
Oh, right.
And I just tried to deliver and put him in the position to make him look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good, mate.
Yeah. And so I thought, okay, this is not a bad gig. And like I mentioned earlier, we didn't know in season 9 if there's going to be a season 10. Like, we really didn't. Nope.
And now season
50 coming up. Yeah. And so, you know, I thought, well, this is a pretty good circus. If I can hitch my start in this circus, and then of course Palau was the next one. We did Palau, and then away it went.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So you know, it's
look. This is. Oh man, I'm loving all these stories because everyone finally realised what the talents are.
Yeah, the most important talent is just hanging in there and not giving up. Yeah,
that's all. 50% social.
Pretty much.
But
and then
having being on a serious note.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
and it's being able to work with everyone from different industries. That's what I was saying earlier to other people. Is that this film TV game? It's a whole world in itself because you've got the most major industries under one roof. In such a small roof, and everyone really who's here deserves to be here and is appreciated by everyone. Generally.
Pretty much.
Should be.
Yeah. Mostly. Yeah. No, very much so. And you know, you end up, I've always said, you know, the dickheads don't get invited back.
That's right.
Yeah. Fortunately, we keep coming back. But and so you end up with a core group of people who are motivated
And get the job done
to
with
make it work.
So that's how you got into the game. You've been doing it a long time, and I think it's pretty clear you enjoy it. What are some times that can bother you, bug you, or kind of get you down in the game? There must be some times, or not?
Yeah, it's actually generally more based around situations beyond your control, like this, getting involved in weather, and because as you can imagine, the show's been shot all over the world in all kinds of different conditions, and I can remember coming back from Siem Reap in Cambodia with contestants and a handler, and we were coming across through the mountains, and the weather had deteriorated from the day before, and so
weather's the big factor.
Yeah, because you're very conscious. If you don't have references, then you pretty much, helicopters are inherently unstable.
Right.
Airplanes are inherently stable. So you get off the controls and they'll fly straight and level. They just want to come back straight and level flight, providing they're trimmed correctly.
Helicopters.
Airplanes.
Airplanes. Yeah. The helicopters.
Helicopters, the complete opposite, inherently unstable.
I see. Yes.
Kind of like the pilots.
Right.
But yeah, if you get off the controls of a helicopter, you'll pretty much be upside down within a couple of seconds.
Okay. Is there any place that you would not fly to, or anything you would not do, or you consider, maybe I'm a bit old for that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I did a season in Antarctica, flying off the back of a ship called the Steve Irwin for Sea Shepherd.
Okay.
And that definitely pushed the limits on weather.
Right.
And how fast it can change. And just that feeling of, what's going to happen? How are we going to deal with this?
Right. Yeah.
They asked me to go back, but in fact, I actually went to Nepal to fly in Nepal.
Okay.
Because I had a buddy there. Because I figured.
Is that a nomadic thing, or is that
well, that
the mountains I've seen? It's very high.
Yes. Oh, it doesn't get any higher than Everest. Yeah.
That's right.
But I figured at least in Nepal, if I go down, I've got a good chance of lasting until sunset.
Right.
But if I go down in Antarctica in the Southern Ocean,
forget it.
The chances are pretty minimal. At times I was 60 nautical miles from the ship, which is about 100 plus Ks. Because we were always trying to find the Japanese factory mothership so that we could mess with it and stop them sailing.
What's the range of the helicopter you're flying now?
2 hours, and it's flying at about 100 knots max, so 200 nautical miles.
Okay. Right.
So 50 miles is 80 Ks.
Yep.
So that's about 320 Ks.
Okay.
This aircraft we have here now is it's got twin engines, putting out around 1,800 horsepower, 900 horsepower per side per engine. Have a guess what the fuel burn is per hour?
I wouldn't have a clue, mate. 20 litres? No, 200 litres an hour.
Okay, close, 400 litres an hour, which is 2 big drums of fuel every hour.
Man, that's huge.
Yeah. That's why you fly them, you don't buy them. Yeah.
That's right.
And so, with this machine, by an hour and 3/4, I'm looking for a service station. I'm looking for the next fill.
Yes. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and unlike sailing, where it's funny, the only time I ever left port in a yacht without full tanks, I left Palawan in the Philippines. So I knew I was going to Labuan near Brunei, which has fuel up the Indian. And I knew I could get cheap diesel.
Oh, right.
So the only time I never topped up the tanks, wind died and we were motoring and I actually ran out of fuel. But I was on a sailboat and so I just kept sailing. And I sailed my way into port.
Okay.
And you can do that, but in a helicopter.
I did that with my car, but I had to push it to the petrol station.
Correct. And you just veered off the road to the verge, right? In an aircraft, you don't have that luxury.
No, of course.
Yeah. You out of fuel, you're going down, and whatever's underneath you is where you're going to park it.
I want to know, what do you think about the Wright brothers in that era? Would you have loved to have lived at that time?
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. I just recently read my father's older brother's story. Right? This was the guy back in the UK who went to Australia as a jackaroo.
Yep.
And one of his earliest memories in this little memoir that his daughter transcribed for us was seeing Beirut cross the English Channel for the first time.
Oh,
ever.
right. Wow.
And so that must have been 1920 or something like that. Maybe earlier, because it was pre-World War I. World War I had a lot of aviation.
Yes.
So this is probably 1908 or 9 or something. Yeah. First guy to fly across the English Channel. I mean, that era of aviation.
Let's go back another 300 years.
Right.
Would you jump off a building with man-made feathers?
Like Icarus, or fly too close to the sun. No, I mean, that era doesn't really, I mean, you think about a paraglider. My entry into aviation was with a $1,000 paraglider made out of pretty exotic material with spectral lines and technology where you can fly with something that's on your back. That's better than the guy with the feathers strapped to him.
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate they're living in the wrong era.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they had the right idea, right?
Yeah, and the world's inventor of the helicopter, Igor Sikorsky, there were not engines powerful enough in existence to power a helicopter. So he actually was seaplanes, float planes. And Sikorsky manufactured a bunch of seaplane aircraft that were widely used. And then only when they developed the reciprocal, the petrol engine, that was light enough with enough power output, could they actually start working on helicopters. Yeah. So no, that era doesn't. There's no better era than right here, right now, in my opinion.
And space, does that interest you?
Yeah, well, sure, but I mean, it's
because that would be the next one for you, right?
Yeah.
Astronaut.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
So,
yeah, space. I mean, I think there's just, as great as it would be, there's just too much.
There's no air out there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you sound like you're a logical guy. So you kind of weigh up your odds, and I think.
Pretty much. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
And try and plot the best course.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, you've either got to be.
Do you think man landed on the moon?
Yeah, of course they did.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though there was a woman in New Jersey said, my TV won't even pick up New York, so how could it have picked up the moon? I think that's just a
conspiracy thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny. Neil Armstrong was on the flight, and the guy beside him was talking, and this guy had just come back from Everest. He just summited Everest. So wasn't a long flight, but they spent most of the time talking about this character's
Destinations.
well, this character's successful attempt at Everest.
Mm.
Anyway, as they were landing and he was getting his suitcase out of the thing, he said, "Oh, by the way, my name's blah blah. What's your name?" He goes, "Oh, Neil Armstrong."
Wow. What a great conversation. That's a good scene, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I think they.
Good.
I think they did.
So, Ken, you've been in the game for so long. Apart from the work, you must have met many characters or well-known people. Any come to mind?
Sure. So, when I was sailing, we sailed a 143-foot ketch from the Netherlands to the UK and then to Martha's Vineyard.
Right.
And for the summer. And the owner was a wealthy individual who made his fortune with Rockport shoes. Started selling shoes out of his combi and ended up with the Rockport empire. Wow. And when he flogged it to Reebok, big bucks. So he built a $20 million yacht in the Netherlands. And my old captain contacted me to join him as his first mate. Anyway, Martha's Vineyard, who should come to dinner but Carly Simon.
Right.
Yeah. And I couldn't believe she looked like a horse.
Quite a long face.
Exactly. I actually went back
Really?
into the saloon and looked at one of her Carly Simon CD things. But yeah, she was with a daughter that she had with James Taylor.
Right.
Yeah, but that's a whole other story. One interesting situation, I joined a company in Wyoming called Hawkins and Powers, and it was my first fire season. Did my training. They gave me a Bell Jet Ranger, a baby bucket, and this thermal imaging camera, the company credit card, and said, "All right, get yourself to Oregon for a fire." Right? So on the way, I went through our base in Jackson Hole, also in Wyoming, and I was getting fuel. So the company had a hangar and a base there, right? And while I'm getting fuel, one of the guys goes, "Oh, I see that Jet Ranger there. That's Harrison Ford's." I thought, okay, interesting, right? Anyway, topped up with fuel, kept heading west, got to Oregon, and I think a week later, I see in the news that Harrison Ford and his instructor, doing some training, practicing auto rotations, balled it up and totally destroyed it, right? And I was like, wow, that's really interesting, like I was just looking at the actual aircraft a week ago, and now it's destroyed. The interesting thing about that was, we kind of grow up aspiring to be maybe rich and famous, or we look up to movie stars, or, and that kind of attitude, suddenly I realized, damn, so he's a famous, rich movie actor. Obviously loves flying.
Ugly.
As sin, yeah. But a private pilot. And that was his instructor's fault, not his, because the instructor was a pilot in command. But I suddenly realized, holy hell, I probably have better flying skills than he does. And in fact...
Than the instructor.
Or Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so suddenly I realized, man, that's a nice epiphany to be happy in my own skin. Like at that stage, I would rather be me than Harrison Ford with a balled up helicopter.
Of course.
Yeah. So it was a really nice kind of breakthrough of how you look at things. And then, So, years later, we're here on location, flying a Bell 407. It's an ex-Texas police helicopter aircraft, magnificent machine. And we go back to base in Nandi because we had an issue we were trying to deal with, right? So we're in the hangar, it's late afternoon.
Right.
Nandi base at the airport. And I come out of the pilot's office and there's a guy with his head in the cockpit of my helicopter. helicopter I'm flying.
Right. Oh,
It's being worked on.
Yeah.
So I go down there.
John Travolta.
Could have been. Should have been. But I go down there to find out, like, who are you? And he pulls his head out, and it's Harrison Ford.
You would double take. I mean,
Yeah, like, and the
not
last
every
guy I
day,
expected,
would you?
yeah, like, his missus is in reception.
It's not the Falcon he was flying.
No, not that one. Anyway, and he goes to me, are you the survivor pilot?
Right.
And I go, yeah.
He's heard about you.
Bizarre, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, he goes, I've got this exact same aircraft, Bell 407. And he goes, I love it. And I go, yeah, me too. Aren't they great? No, seriously.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, yeah. And so we had this conversation, they talk about...
Did he say, oh, fuck mine? Did he? I'm like, just sort of waiting.
Well, maybe. Bear with me for another
Sorry.
30 minutes. No, we'll cover this in 3. So they talk about, with crew resource management, they talk about authority gradients. The captain's here, and particularly in Asian airlines, and no one will talk back to the captain, and this is great. And then, what you want is... So, rather than me being like, oh, guy, he's a famous movie actor, here we are, we're just both talking about the great attributes of this machine,
Right.
and how much we both love to fly. So it was like talking to a mate about a car that we both love, Anyway, so we're talking, and I said, damn, I go, do you find when you're deaccelerating from rearward flight, so when we shoot Probst on the top of a mountain, doing his 39 days, 80 contestants, 1 survivor, we were in tight on him, and then when he said 1 survivor, camera pulls back, and then skids out of the shot, I back out, and I'll back out 2 miles, 2,000 feet.
I see.
Keeping the skids out of the shot, and there he is down there, right? Dryden's in the back saying, oh, can you put that island over his left shoulder? And then we come back, and we'll generally do that 7 or 8 times until Dryden is happy. Dryden being the director of the tagline. So, to do that, there's no airspeed for flying backwards. You actually have to look at your GPS and subtract the wind speed. And in the manual, the pilot operating manual, it's not that difficult. It's not rocket surgery, like Lindsay Lohan says, right? Anyway, in the pilot operating handbook, that is part of the machine and has to be by law on board whenever you fly. In there, it says this aircraft has been demonstrated up to 45 knots sideways and rearward flight. Okay, fly any faster than that, and you're a test pilot. Gotcha. But they've demonstrated to that speed for that aircraft, right? So, but when you're flying backwards, it accelerates pretty fast because it's quite a slippery machine.
Okay.
And so when you go to slow down, the thing gets really twitchy because you've got this vertical fin that's flying backwards. And so I said to Harrison, my buddy, I said that. I said,
he would love to hear this too.
Yeah, no, I said, yeah, do you find when you're deaccelerating from rearward flight in excess of 40 knots, the thing gets really twitchy, right? And he looks at me and goes, I never fly the fucking thing backwards.
And that's what I was thinking.
Exactly, yeah. But he totally got it because he's a film guy.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, and there was just this, I won't say a level of respect, but there was just this like camaraderie, of a shared...
Brothers.
Yeah.
Brothers.
Yeah. And so it was interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. A really interesting
amazing
experience.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's funny, he my buddies flew him up to a little school up in the mountains here in Fiji because he'd been donating books and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And my buddy was telling me they went in, and it's a one-room school, and the teacher goes to all the kids. Well, kids, we've got a famous person here from Hollywood, famous actor. Does anyone know who he is? Right? And this little kid up the front going, yeah. And he goes, who is it? He goes, Spider-Man.
This neurosurgeon said that when something happens to you, it kind of goes from this happens, goes to that happens, recognition, and then it goes from this to your memory. So deja vu is just this not going to that, but going straight to that. So you think it's happened before. I thought that was, what do you reckon?
Yeah, well,
It's simple.
I did a bit of study. I did a bit of. I mean, it all goes through. It's just
It's the psychology.
it all goes through the corpus callosum, which joins the two hemispheres. It's the highway between the two lobes,
Right.
left and right.
Okay.
And supposedly, when you're left-handed, you're right dominant, and right-handed is left dominant because it crosses.
Is that like steering an outboard motor on the boat?
Can be, yeah, yep,
Steer left, turn right.
yeah, can be, and also counter gyroscopic effect of the front wheel on a motorbike, where you actually you push the wheel left to go right.
Yeah, right. Gotcha.
Like we think it's leaning, but when we lean, we're actually pushing the wheel left.
Is that why I flipped over one day when I leant too much?
Yeah,
Going
possibly.
around a hairpin.
Possibly.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that same thing operates in helicopters. It's called gyroscopic precession. So when a disc spins, the input doesn't happen. The result doesn't until 90 degrees later in the direction of rotation. So the first helicopter that they built, the guy put in forward cycling, and I don't know whether it was going that way or that way. Let's say it was American, it was going that way. Put in forward cycling, and it went left. He put in left and went backwards. So in the swash plate of every helicopter, that is accounted for in the controls because of gyroscopic precession. A simple way is to spin a top, get it at 12 o'clock, and if it's spinning clockwise, it dips at 3 o'clock.
Wow.
You feel it with a bicycle wheel when you spin it and you hold the axle and you try and turn it, and it goes like that.
Yeah, right.
That's gyroscopic precession.
Gotcha.
And that has its effect in bikes, motorbikes, helicopter rotors, anything that rotates.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So what happens when you do it? Because it's the South Pole and the North Pole which have the direction, right?
Right.
So what happens if you
that's
fly?
Coriolis.
Okay. So what?
Yeah, go on. Sorry. What's
So what happens? Is it when you fly a helicopter right on the equator?
Nothing.
Does it balance out?
No, it doesn't actually affect it because that's why there's no cyclones on the equator, because it doesn't get them spinning off.
Ah.
And if you got an apple there,
Yeah.
you got an orange. I'll go the apple. I'll go the apple in the pen. And this is what I learned to tape in Broadway. So there's the globe. There's the North Pole.
You're advertising here, mate.
I can't just get rid of that. I just get rid of that. No, we can't do that. No unpaid sponsorship. Okay. So you know which way it rotates, right?
Yep.
The Earth, which way?
Ah, gee whiz.
There it is. You're the Earth. You show me. Where's the sun come up?
Oh, right. Okay.
Where does it come up?
Oh, yeah, okay, this way.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Simple, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It is. And and you go back. Okay. So you got the spin right. There's the equator.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not eating the apple, so.
No, okay. All right. Now, okay. You draw a line from the South Pole to the equator.
Yeah.
Just a little line now from the South Pole to
Imaginary
the
line?
equator. No, on the apple. From the bottom to the top. Now I'm going to rotate the apple.
Oh,
Go on.
swell. Yeah,
Go on.
it's a bit hard to do.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Oh, gotcha.
Which way is that line going?
To the
You
west.
just drew. Forget that. Left or right?
It's staying the same because the planet's moving.
No. That
It's going
line,
left.
Yeah. The line
Right.
you drew on the apple went left. Okay? Now draw a line from the North Pole to the equator as I rotate. Stop. Now have a look at that line. Which way is that line going?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
If you spin it around.
Well, it's spinning. It's always spinning.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So, everything that moves in the northern hemisphere is deflected to the right. And that's called Coriolis. He's the guy who proposed it. Anything that moves in the southern hemisphere gets deflected left. So, if you fire an artillery shell in the Ukraine to the Russians, you've got to allow for Coriolis, for the rotation of the Earth. Yeah. And, yeah, And Coriolis, okay, I'll take it a bit further. There's the sun. Equator's closest to the sun, right?
Yep.
Yep. This heats up, the equator heats up, hot air rises, cools, and then comes back down there and back down there.
Yep.
Okay, now let's talk the southern hemisphere. It comes down here, and that's called a high pressure system, descending air.
Right.
There's no clouds, and all the air is piling on top of itself. Right? Now, when it hits the ocean or the land, let's say the ocean.
Bring the apple out here, mate. So
Yeah,
I can see
okay.
it.
So, rises in the equator, comes back down in the mid-latitudes. Right, this is the equator 0, down here at 30s. Hits the surface of the Earth, fans out, and in the southern hemisphere, goes left. Like the line you just drew.
Is that the
So
roaring
that's a high,
40s?
no, that comes later. So a high pressure system goes counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere
Right.
because it's going left. Right? A low pressure goes the opposite direction.
In the southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
In the northern hemisphere, high pressure air heats up, cools, hits the surface of the Earth, it rotates to the right. So a high pressure system, which is just air descending, is rotating clockwise, and a low the opposite direction. So that's why you have your lows and your highs doing different things. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. You get a fucking hurricane. Yeah, you're probably more familiar with weather in the northern hemisphere.
Right.
Like all those typhoons that come out of the Bahamas, hurricanes headed for Florida.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a massive system spinning,
Yeah.
right? As it moves, anything that moves, an artillery shell, a 10-pin bowling ball, a massive cyclone system, deflects to the right. So you see them all coming up from Cuba, and they always swing to the right and miss Florida and go out into the Gulf. This is Coriolis, which affects us in every way, and is determined by the rotation of the Earth.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing stuff.
It is.
Yeah, it really is, you know.
Good to know, mate.
Yeah, particularly in simple terms. Now, can I show you one other thing? So, I was on this yacht called Show Me, an American yacht. We were coming down from Japan. On an American yacht, we're sailing from Japan back down to Hong Kong. Right?
Yes.
We've been in Korea, and we're coming south, and there's a fucking hurricane, typhoon, cyclone, whatever you call it, whatever part of the world. No, which is coming from Hong Kong.
Oh, coming up.
Yeah,
So
coming
it's
up from Hong Kong.
Into China mainland and out
Yeah,
to
and
Japan
coming up. Yeah, forget which way it's spinning, but the whole system is going to deflect to the right. Because
Yes.
anything that moves, as you know, if we had a felt tip pen, it would have been a lot clearer for you. But I think you got it.
I got it.
Yeah, okay. So, we're coming down, and we're on the China side of Taiwan. Taiwan's a big fucking island, right? And we're going to go into Taipei at the top. Okay? The owner of the fucking yacht had been in the US Navy 20 years earlier. Right? He was now a rich bastard. He was sailing around the world, and we were his crew. And I was the first mate. I wasn't the captain. He remembered from his Navy days to keep 200 miles between you and a fucking hurricane. Right? So he said to Herbie, the captain, instead of coming down here, let's go out into the fucking South China Sea. And so we tacked, and we're headed for the South China Sea. Right? Now, the captain was this super fucking cool sailor from Maine. A lot of fucking experience. I knew for a fact he'd never studied celestial navigation, and he'd never actually formally studied meteorology. He had all this knowledge from the Caribbean. But I've been to fucking TAFE, and I had all this knowledge in my head, right? So I got an orange from the galley, and I got a black felt tip pen, and I go, Herbie, we've just turned, and we're now heading to the South China Sea, right? This hurricane that's coming up from Hong Kong, because of Coriolis, it's going to deflect to the right. We're going to meet the fucking thing in the South China Sea, and we're all going to fucking die. Or a very good chance.
Yeah.
And I said, and here's why. and I drew it on a grapefruit with a felt tip pen. And Herbie goes, fuck me, right?
He saved us some lives, mate.
He went aft to Les, the owner, right? I had to do it through the chain of command.
Yeah.
Kind of gives me goosebumps thinking of that.
Yeah.
Because of my life as well, right?
Yeah.
And my girlfriend.
Yeah.
He goes back with the same grapefruit and he explains to Les why we should not be heading into the fucking South China Sea to meet a hurricane. Right? Yeah. Well, no, keep going down. And so what I said to Herbie, okay, so this was a high pressure, this was a low, a cyclone. High goes to the right, clockwise, a low goes counterclockwise. It's spinning that way, but it's going that way. Kind of like a bowling ball going down the bloody 10-pin alley, right?
Yep.
So I said, Herbie, if we continue down the China side of Taiwan, it's spinning that way, we're going to be protected by the mountains of Taiwan. So we're going to be in the lee of Taiwan.
Even though you'll be closer than 200 kilometres from it.
Right. And it, because of the laws of Coriolis, it will curve to the right.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll have wind, but we won't have the seas because there's no fetch. Because the island is protecting us.
Yeah.
So you know what? That's what we did.
We
managed to talk the owner into it and tack back, and we continued south on the west side of Taiwan, right? We had fucking shitloads of wind and flat seas.
Wow.
So we got from the top of Taiwan to the bottom overnight, which is hundreds of miles, you know?
What would you have done if the captain didn't change course?
Oh, fuck. Because I can't, I would be mutiny.
Well, this is what I'm asking.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd be...
So I had to explain it to him in terms that he could communicate to the owner.
I think he would have just jumped off with a life raft. You and your girlfriend.
We were in fucked.
Yeah. Man, you're a hero again.
Well, not really. Just
common sense, isn't it?
Like fuck. I mean, I knew stuff that he didn't, or that he hadn't been exposed to. Not his fault.
Well, it's nice you can, join the forces together, mate.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. And so the next morning, we were at Kaohsiung on the very bottom of Taiwan. And in we went. And we were there for days and days. And the hurricane fucking curved to the right. I looked at it on the weather facts. We were being fucking hammered. Yeah, interesting.
Amazing.
I guess.
Yeah. That's good.
And
it's experience.
Well, it's experience, and all coming from a point of view where I really didn't think I had any academic kind
and your
aspirations.
Collective education, boy, it pays off.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
That's amazing.
We'll put Coriolis over here.
Coriolis. Very good. So do you find this industry good for body and mind and soul?
It's a really good question. And where I noticed the divergence. So, film game, I mean, it's exciting, everyone's gung-ho. You can go from hero to zero in a flash.
Right. Okay.
This industry loves success. You fuck up, you're toast.
Right.
And I noticed this when I did my season on Sea Shepherd in the Antarctic with a bunch of volunteers down there to try and save 330 whales being swallowed by the Japanese. All right. And it was really interesting. So a couple of months on a vegan ship in the Southern Ocean, and I'd just come off a Survivor season. Anyway, it was an interesting
just
comparison.
Looking for part-time work, go and say 300 whales, is it?
Well, these guys were volunteers.
Yeah.
And I got the call through one of the Survivor contacts, Dick Beckett's. No, not Smith. It's a whole other story, isn't it?
Yes.
Dick Beckett's daughter married one of their captains.
Okay, right.
Anyway, they lost their helicopter pilot, and so I got the call, can you be in Fremantle tomorrow from Sydney? And oh yeah, what can you say? Yes. But anyway, just the difference between these kids, and a lot of the kids, volunteers, there to do good and save whales, compared to professional film crew who are a bit more
civilian experience.
Well, a bit more mercenary.
Okay.
And like I said, not very forgiving of screw ups.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're creating a product, not saving a life form, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot more egos involved.
Okay. Physically, is it good?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is one of the greatest families we all belong to. Some of us 15 plus years.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a blessing.
How has it affected you? I mean, in a negative way, or generally it's been pretty good?
No, I can't think of any negatives.
That's good.
It's been great. Absolutely great. And one of the things I was going to say, so I mentioned earlier, we always knew drones were coming.
Right.
But none of us realized how fast. So when that went down, it pretty much changed. One season, it was illegal to have a drone here. Russ Phil got into trouble for flying out in the sacreds. The next season, we had drone operators on the payroll. Boom. Okay. And the camera was gone off the helicopter.
Well, that was another question. How is AI going to affect the industry?
Oh man, I can't even imagine. All I know from my experience is that, 1 year I had a camera, the next year, no camera. So my flight time just dropped, but that's fine because I don't have to do any more hours at my stage. Sure. But here's what was interesting. I had two guys that I was working with, camera operators, who used to switch out. One of them saw them as the enemy, the drone guys, and didn't want to even talk to them. The other guy embraced them full on, like brothers. And drones can only go to 400 feet legally, AGL, above ground level. Right? So we embrace these guys. I mean, they're pilots. They're just pilots on the ground, but they love flying. So I created for myself a new category. All right. I took the doors off the heli, put them in the back with their drones, and I was taking them to 4,000 feet, sometimes 14,000 feet. So they were capturing stuff that they couldn't get with 400 being the max. Right? So I become a drone pilot. It's a category that didn't exist.
The DPP.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. And I'll add a photo to the mix.
The DPP.
No, exactly. The drone pilot. And so we've been doing a lot of this stuff.
So can you just kind of clarify, like, do you drop the drone out?
No, screw that.
It stays on the helicopter?
Yeah, they sit in the back with the propellers removed and hold the drone. And there'll be a photo that I'll send you add to the mix.
So as soon as you can start up 5,000 feet and then you come down and then they can just, under 400, they can just jump on.
No. I keep
sure.
them on board. Yeah, no, I don't want the drone flying back in. Not on my aircraft. Not on my watch. I want a drone coming in my face. No. We take off with the drone pilots and their drones, and we land with the same amount of drones and pilots.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
What do you think about all those? I just want to, on a side thing, you see entertainment, drones pretending to be fireworks.
Oh, wonderful.
You think so?
Oh, amazing.
I mean, it's amazing technology.
Yeah, and sure. I mean, all of all that gunpowder and fireworks stuff and the air pollution and, you know. And
I love it.
yeah, but the drone
The
stuff
chaos is insane.
true, but you're obviously not a pet owner whose dog is hiding under the bed, freaked out by the noise.
True.
No, I think, I think non-violent aerial displays,
Right.
great.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, how much
That's
they
interesting.
spend? How much they spend on
Well,
use
true.
even Sydney
Yeah.
Harbour? It's a couple of mil.
It's not like you can use them again.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
one time.
Interesting. Yeah.